In this video, we're going to review some differences on the patient's screen between Valant Private Practice Suite and Valant IO. We'll compare both interfaces side by side to highlight updates to the look and feel of the system and familiarize you with Valant IO. But first, I want to ease any concerns you might have about learning a whole new system. You do not need to relearn our software to get started using Valant IO. There are some subtle differences, and we'll review some of those here together. But if you're already familiar with using Valant, transitioning to Valant IO should be a very smooth experience for you and your practice. Let's get started. First, you can see I have two windows open. On the left, I have my Internet Explorer browser open and logged into Private Practice Suite. On the right, I have my Google Chrome browser open and logged into the same account, Valant IO. Remember that your username and password is the same for Private Practice Suite and Valant IO. I'm going to open my patient list in Private Practice Suite by going to Persons and Institutions, Patients. Now I'm going to do the same thing in Valant IO by going to Persons and Institutions, Patients. I'm just going to minimize my left-hand menu in both windows just to give us a little more screen real estate for the purposes of this demonstration. There are a few differences you'll find on the patient screen in IO compared to Private Practice Suite. First, in Valant IO, we've added some advanced filtering tools to help you quickly and easily find the patients you're looking for. You can see in Private Practice Suite, we only have a limited number of fields we can search based on. We've really expanded this functionality in IO. So you can see we have the main search box at the top of the screen. If I type, you can see how it is searching across multiple columns and it's finding all of the records that contain that text string. Alternately, I can search based on a specific column and multiple columns at the same time. So maybe instead of searching across all columns for Andy, I want to specifically find a last name that includes Andy, and first name contains P. So we're really narrowing down our list here. I can get even more specific by clicking on the looking glass to specify the type of search I want on a specific field. For example, I can say starts with. So now I'm just looking at those patient records that start with A and D and include P anywhere in the first name. Furthermore, I can click on the column header to sort Z to A, or sort A to Z or Z to A. Now you can see how quickly I've whittled down my full patient list to just a few options. Next, you can freely customize your patient screen to add and remove columns here to see just the information that's most relevant to you. Select columns in the upper right. If we click on this button, it gives a little pop-up in the lower right. And this is the selection panel where we can check fields that I want to see on my patient screen and uncheck anything I don't need to see. Maybe I don't need preferred name, but I would like birth date, and maybe I want the patient type column as well. You can see it's quickly added and removed the columns I selected. Note that you're only editing your view on the patient screen, so you're free to edit your settings here without worrying about changing anyone else's view. Each user can configure their patient screen to their heart's content. We can also click and drag these columns around. Maybe I want to see main phone, add a birth date, for example, portal username before portal status. You can see drag and drop here to configure it just how you like. Now that we have our short list of patients that we searched for, we can easily export this information by clicking the Export All Data button in the upper right. It looks like a little piece of paper with an arrow. When I click that, you can see how this pops up immediately with a spreadsheet that I can now open and save or print or do whatever I need to do with. Now we've applied a lot of filters here. Let's say we want to get back to our full patient list. We can click on the Clear Filters and Search button in the upper right. It looks like a little backwards arrow. This is going to clear all of the different parameters we've set and take us back so we can start fresh again with our full patient list. When we click on a patient record, it's now going to open full screen rather than the split screen view you're used to in Private Practice Suite. So you can see how that patient record has opened up my full screen here rather than the split screen view. To get back to our patient list and select a different patient, simply click the X in the upper right, and that returns us to our patient list. The final item I want to highlight here is how to add insurance company information to patient records in Valant IO. In Private Practice Suite, we basically assumed that all patients would have insurance information, so the Insurance 1 tab was viewable by default. In IO, we no longer make that assumption. You can see I do not have the Insurance 1 tab here to start with. So to add insurance information in IO, we're always going to go to Options in the lower left and the Insurance menu, and you can see this is where I can add my Insurance 1, 2, 3. Now you can add the necessary information and click Save. Really, all other functionality within the patient record is going to be the same between Valant IO and Private Practice Suite. I hope you found this video helpful in orienting you to some of the differences you'll find on the patient screen when using Valant IO. Have a nice day.